If you clicked on this video, odds are you're a pure playmaker. You've been looking for the pure playmaker build in 2K24. You always like to play with the pure playmaker and you just couldn't find it this year. Now the 2K24 build system is pretty good and gives us a lot of room to create these players that we want, these really crazy builds. But I think ever since we got this new builder system, pure playmakers have kind of become extinct because most people just go for a player that could shoot really well and dribble really well. They'll sacrifice defense and have a little bit of finishing, be very fast, and they'll make the play shot styles. Play sharp, play shot styles. That's not for me. I'm here today to bring the pure playmakers back to 2K24. And I have not one, not two, but 5 different builds for you guys to look at. Now, before I even get started, I don't want to lead you guys on. The build names for all these players are not Playmaker. They are Floor General. If you don't like that, you can click off right now. I'm not going to waste your time. But I've searched for hours and hours trying to find the Playmaker build name in this game, and I couldn't find it. I've seen some people say that if you make a small player, you might be able to get it. I've gone on 2K Labs because they have templates for how to build players with certain build names. Tried that didn't work either. So I'm going to keep looking. If I find it, I'll make sure to upload another video. But for this video, all the builds I show you are going to be Floor General. Now, if anyone's been able to find the Playmaker build name, please leave a comment. Let me know. I'd like to see what it is. But the builds I have in this video are all very good, I think. They all serve a different purpose. And they play as different kinds of playmakers. You have pass-first playmakers. You have more dribble-head playmakers. You have definitely score first playmakers. I think this video covers all boxes. I think it checks all boxes. Odds are there's going to be a player in here for you. And now I want to make this very clear. The way this new build system works, there's so much room to change the build around and do things just slightly differently than the other person and make the build more for you. That's why I wouldn't call these necessarily builds you should make, although you could. They're all very good. But treat these as build templates for the build that you want to make. I have 6'8", 6'7", 6'6", and 6'4". I'm going to give my opinion on all of them very in-depth. This is a long video. So if you're not the kind of person that likes long in-depth videos, this video is not for you. It's expensive to make a player in this game. So I'm going to break down everything so you know exactly what you're making. You know exactly where the attributes are going and why. If you have any comments or questions about anything else in this video, leave the comment down below and I'll try my best to get back to you because I want you to have the build that you want. So look at these builds, treat them as templates, make the changes that you want for your player. But I think these are all good starting grounds to make a good playmaker build in this game at multiple different heights. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you the build that I'm going to make as my new playmaker build compared to the one that I've been using, which they're both good, but they're a little different. Without further ado, let's get into the video because it's going to be a long one. Hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a like if you do. Subscribe if you like the content. I'm going to have more coming out. And trust me, they won't all be 30-minute videos like this one. We have this 6'8" pure playmaker build. We're going 6'8", 214 on the weight, 7'6" wingspan. And here we are. Starting with the shooting. We have 76 mid-range, 76 3. You're going to see basically all these builds have that same 3-point rating, and it's because 76 is as high as you can go for both 3-point and mid-range without it changing the build name to something else. We're going for Floor General as if it was the Playmaker build name because it's basically the Playmaker build name in this game. 3-point shot, anything higher than a 76 is going to give you something 3-point, like you might get 3-point Playmaker, you might get diming 3-point threat, something along those lines. Mid-range will also do that, but something along the lines of inside the arc score or mid-range maestro, something along that line. Now over to the pass accuracy. We got 96 pass accuracy on this player. This is probably, out of all the builds I'm going to show you in this video, the most faithful to a pure playmaker build. 96 pass accuracy, you get the Hall of Fame Dimer, which to me is like the staple badge of a pure playmaker, Hall of Fame Dimer. You also get Hall of Fame Break Starter, Needle Threader on gold, Relay Passer, Touch Passer, Post Playmaker, Special Delivery, all on Hall of Fame, with Bailout on gold, which is honestly really nice to have. Ball Handles 85, which is max for a 6'8" player. Speed with ball, 75, which is perfect for this style player. You can go up to 77, but you don't unlock anything. You don't unlock any animations, you don't unlock any badges, so 75 is the perfect threshold. You won't notice that +2. On to the defense, 55 interior. That honestly just goes up with, I believe it's a perimeter. We're going 85 perimeter, 85 steel. 85 perimeter is going to get us silver clamps along with basically all of our other defensive badges on silver, making us a really, really good defender on this build. Then we have the 85 steel, which makes us a good off-ball defender too with that silver interceptor, and even the silver glove and right stick ripper are honestly really good at plucking people here and there, but I wouldn't rely on it like you would with maybe a 95 steel, 96 steel, or a 91 even. The silver badges aren't as good for getting on-ball plucks, but they still work sometimes. Next is the offensive rebound. The reason I went with offensive rebound instead of defensive rebound is it's cheaper. You're gonna see if I try to put it all on this, I get 83, but then I have no room for offensive rebound, and why would I want to do that? Instead, we drop this down, we upgrade this max, we get good offensive rebound, decent defensive rebound, and we still get the silver rebound chaser and boxo beast. And trust me, with the 68 defensive rebound and these 2 rebounding badges, you're gonna get all the defensive rebounds, because odds are on defense you're going to have better position anyways. With the boxo beast and the rebound chaser, you're going to grab the board with the 68 defensive rebound, and then that 83 offensive rebound, you will snag offensive rebounds for your team. I promise you, it is really, really nice to have. Next, we got the physicals. Speed, acceleration, 81 and 73 for sure. You can go up to 82, but you don't get anything. 81 is perfect because you get your speed booster, and 73 is also perfect because you get the silver blow by, silver fast feet, and there's no point of going up to 74 because you don't unlock anything. Strength, we got 82. This is going to get us that immovable enforcer on silver, as well as we need a little bit of strength to get our clamps badge, but it's not much. The immovable enforcer and the boxo beast are the big things with the strength. It makes a big difference. You might not think you need it, but the difference it makes on the defensive end is actually insane. You're going to notice not having strength in your build versus having strength. Even if it was only the 50, which is a viable threshold as well, because you still get the silver clamps, you will notice that more than having even the same perimeter defense without having that strength. You won't get clamps. Even if you don't get clamps, and I had my perimeter defense down here and my strength up max, just having my strength up without clamps, I'll still notice my player gets more bumps on ball, plays better defense, is able to move through screens easier. It's just better. But for this build, we're tossing that up to 85, and we're tossing the strength up to 82. Vertical, 70 on this build. It just works out perfectly because I get that bronze posterizer. Aerial Wizard and Pogo Stick are just kind of nice. They follow along with it. 70 is also a nice area to get rebounds. 70 just works out perfectly for this player. Then 99 stamina, obviously. We're pure playmaker. I want to be able to dribble the ball with ease, play defense, no problem. Don't want to get tired. You could drop it to 96 or even 91, but I don't see the point in that. It's really cheap. Put it to 99. You won't regret it. Now the finishing, I saved this for last because I have another build I'm going to show you. And the finishing is probably the big difference. A lot of the other stats throughout this build are going to stay the same, aside from maybe a few. Finishing changes a lot between the builds I have. We got 92 post control. That's for the unpluckable on gold. If you really want to, you could drop the post control off, put it somewhere else. I didn't really play around with that because I don't want unpluckable lower than gold. Unpluckable is not even in a great spot right now, but I'd still rather have it on gold than have it on silver. And if it does get a buff, which I think it will, then you're going to be really glad you went for the gold unpluckable over the silver, because it's going to be the higher tiers gold and a Hall of Fame unpluckable that will get a buff more than the bottom two. Driving dunk, 75. This is a perfect threshold. Allows you to get the DeMar DeRozan dunk package, which is a strong dunk package for under 80 driving dunk. 70 gives you pro alley-oops. 65 gives you one of the best dunk animations in the game, the athletic hangs off one. It's almost like the new quick drops, but not exactly. Quick drop still is in the game, but you need to be starter 3 to get it. That's when you unlock a bunch of animations. This build has a 65 driving layup, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves with the player. I wish the driving layup was higher. Driving layups are so strong in this game. Having only 65 kind of annoys me while I'm playing sometimes. And then I think the only thing I haven't touched is free throw. Free throw, I'm putting mine up just because I like to be able to play some rec and some pro-am sometimes. And I think this build is so well-rounded, I might as well be able to do that. And yeah, you finish this build up, you're gonna get floor general. You're gonna get comparison to Oscar Robertson, Lonzo Ball, and Drew Holiday. Guess because that defense. We got floor general. Now you can see here I got a few builds. We're gonna run through them pretty quick. This is the next one I want to talk about. It's a 6'8". So I have a few different builds at different heights. This one is gonna be a no strength version of the build I just showed you. For a while, I was thinking that if I remade my player, which I do want to remake my player, I was thinking that this would be the build I'd make. You got the 80 driving layup, which I think is the perfect threshold because you get the Hall of Fame Pro Touch. Slithery goes up. You still have your gold scooper, gold float game, and scoops and floaters are really overpowered in this game if you know how to use them properly. Driving dunk stays 75. That's a perfect threshold, I still think. You get the DeMar DeRozan package and everything else I explained before. Standing dunk up to 75 on this player. Now the standing dunk on 75 is going to allow me to get Giannis dunk package and Ben Simmons dunk package, which they're supposed to be pretty good. Pretty safe, not easily blockable. I think Ben Simmons might have a few dunks in his package that are a little bit on the blockable side. Giannis is very safe. Post control for the same reason as before. Everything else is the same reason as before, except pass accuracy dropped to a 91. For the rest of the players I show you in this video, the pass accuracy is going to be 91. You're not going to see any more at 96. I like the 96. I think it's cool to have the Hall of Fame Dimer. I think it's cool to have the other Hall of Fame badges, but I don't think they're necessary. I think it's still realistic to call yourself a pure playmaker with gold playmaking badges with a few Hall of Fame. Like the post playmaker is really nice, especially with that post control, and the special delivery is just fun. I feel like flashy passes are just a staple of playmakers, and they always have been. Bailout is still on silver, which is one tier better than most people have. Most people barely even have it on bronze. That silver bailout is more than enough. So 91 pass accuracy is going to be the rest of the builds for the whole video. Defense, exactly the same. Speed, acceleration, exactly the same. Strength, obviously down to a 50 from 82. You don't want to go lower than 50 because then you lose your clamps on silver, and you just don't want to lose your clamps on silver, especially without the immovable enforcer. Vertical, we're going up to 72. The only reason we put that +2 is because everything else the same. Post riser, post stick, you get your rise up. 72, you get aerial wizard on gold, which is honestly a really fun badge. Will allow you to finish alley-oops very consistently, and at gold is when you can start to get consistent putback dunks on your player, and putback dunks are fun, man. There's just nothing else to say about him. This player has lower free throw. Unfortunately, I had to put it down. It's the only way I can make everything fit. But I think with 61, you can still make it work in the rec. Just you won't be the go-to guy for free throws. On to the next build, we have this 6'7". We're gonna go by height from biggest to smallest. This 6'7", another pure playmaker, also floor general. This one has 80 driving layup, 75 driving dunk, which I think is more than good enough finishing for a player for the same reason I showed before. It doesn't have the standing dunk, so you won't get that Ben Simmons or Giannis. But I don't think those are 100% necessities. They're more just nice to have if you can get them. But if you can't get them, there's still some pretty good builds that won't get them. And my favorite build in this video, which I'm going to show at the end, is not even going to have those Giannis or Ben Simmons dunks. Shooting, exactly the same. Free throw is really low on this player. The lowest free throw to any of these builds, I believe. Not a fan of that, but still going to show you the player. 91 pass accuracy, like I said. This build gets a 91 ball handle over 85. 91 is nice for the handles for days and a few select dribble moves. Honestly, I probably wouldn't go with this 6'7" player, but if you want a slightly taller player that's a little quicker than the 6'8", still gonna have defense. The rebounding is nowhere near as good. Only at 60, but you still get rebound chaser. Vertical acceleration, very similar. Speed's a little bit faster on this player than the 6'8". Strength, exactly the same, 50. As the other player. The first player, you won't find any other player other than that first build I showed you with high strength. So don't expect it. And we even have to drop the stamina by 1 tick just to unlock. I don't remember which stat it was, but we had to drop it 1 tick for a certain threshold. I think it was the offensive rebound at a 60 for that bronze rebound chaser. But yeah, we had to do it. Not my favorite build, but it is doable if you kind of want it in between, not the 6'8", not lower. This could work for you. Next, we have the 6'6". Now, the 6'6", I think this one's a fun one. I would consider making this one. The finishing is very, very versatile. You have 75 driving layups, so you could still do layups at a very high rate with Gold Pro Touch, Silver Float Game, and Scooper. Driving dunks at 75 for those DeMar DeRozan packages again. Standing dunks at a 75, again for the Giannis and the Ben Simmons. You could drop this if you want, and put this, I wouldn't go lower than a 45 really, although you could go 40, yeah, even that's low. So you could drop it for the driving layup if you'd rather be a layup guy, but I would put it at 75 across the board. You get the most consistent, dunks by evening it out at 75 across the board. Come to shooting, shooting's exactly the same, but this one's got a much better free throw. 71 is my favorite minimum for free throw because it gets you that bronze free points, and that's just a nice batch to have when you're playing rec or pro-am. Pass accuracy, like I said, 91. Ball handle in this build's a 93. Slightly better than the other build, but also much better. 92 is a threshold for some pretty cool animations. So getting that 92 threshold is kind of big. 93 is going to give you killer combos on gold and ankle breaker on Hall of Fame. So if you want that typical pure playmaker Hall of Fame ankle breaker, more on the dribble side of things, this might be the player for you. You're going to notice a trend. The smaller these players get, the more they go from do-it-all players, which playmakers have always been do-it-all kind of builds throughout the history of 2K. You're going to see the taller players are more of the do-it-all kind of playmaker. The smaller builds are more of the dribble head, just dribble all day playmakers. This build is kind of in between, which is what is kind of nice about it. I mean, you have the crazy dribbling, you just don't have the same speed as a small guard, but gold speed booster and gold hyperdrive are still more than enough if you ask me. Defense, you got 85 perimeter, 85 steal. That's kind of where I was trying to get for all these players, because I noticed that that's a perfect stat amount to play defense effectively in this game. Like you can guard really good players with an 85 perimeter defense because the defense is so strong in this game, and if you have 85 with the clamps and the rest of the badges, you're going to do really well on defense with this. 85 steal is nice because you can just get those 3 badges all on silver, and it just makes you, the on-ball steals are more of a luxury, but being able to play the passing lanes with the interceptor and the long arms on all these playmaker builds is just beautiful. All these builds have max wingspan, so you're going to notice it out there. You're going to be playing passing lanes like crazy. This build doesn't have the rebound, not even a little bit, like the 6'7", and the smaller we get, you're going to see it's going to be less versatile on defense, less finishing. Like the smaller you get, the less spread we have, and the more it is focused on one particular aspect of the player. The physicals, I kind of spoke on them already a little bit. 86, 73, 50 strength is pretty much what I'm going to get for all these players now. Vertical, 72, which honestly you can go with the 70 on this player. I just wasn't sure where to put these last few stats. Maybe you could put them on layup. You don't really get much, so I don't know if it's worth it. But yeah, you could definitely toss that on there. Make sure you get that stamina. This player is not a bad one. I think it's a good mix, especially if you're playing threes. I think this might be a good spot to hit. You can still guard ball on threes, but you don't have to worry as much about the rebounding because you're gonna have 2 other bigger players playing with you. So this build will definitely be good for the threes. Okay. Now, this next one is a really interesting one and is honestly one of my favorite builds out of all the ones I've showed you so far. This one and the next one are going to be my favorites. And I'm actually re-recording this because as I was editing this, I found a slightly better version of this build. Okay. And this build is going to be 6'4", 185 pounds, 7'1" wingspan. Now, with this build, we get the 80 driving layup still. 45 stand dunk, which 45 is the perfect amount for the dunk packages we need. Shooting, same as the rest of the builds. This one's got the higher free throw compared to some of the other builds. Come down here to playmaking. It's going to have the best playmaking out of all of them. If you want to be a quick, speedy dribbler, you want to go for clips, you want to be able to just cook people with your dribble moves, this is the build for you. Now, I still think you could do it on something like the 6'8", but you're going to be much slower. A good player will still be able to cook people, but this one will just be so much easier. You'll probably get more clips with a build like this, and it'll be more fun in general. Pass accuracy is the same. Ball handling is the best out of all of them. The speed booster and hyperdrive on Hall of Fame is what really sets this build apart, makes it that much faster and more saucy than the other players I showed you, all of the other players I've showed you so far. Defense is not terrible either. We got a little bit of interior, which means you're not going to be able to get mashed on in the paint as easily. The 85 perimeter defense is perfect because, like I said, you get all those silver defensive badges, which even on the 6'4 player, those silver defensive badges are so nice. Usually these small players don't have good defense. And by sacrificing shooting, as opposed to like a play sharp version, that's what we get is this defense. 60 steal. Now you could drop your defensive rebound, maybe put it all on steal if you really want. You could drop other stats, maybe the stand dunk, put it all on steal. The original version of this build that I had recorded was like that, just perimeter and steal basically. But I feel like this is just a little more well-rounded. If you really want to play those passing lanes, you can grab this steal and put it up to 85. Then you get silver interceptor, silver glove, silver right stick ripper, or just 81 steal if you want just the interceptor. And then you're fine with the bronze glove and right stick ripper. If it's just the passing lanes you want to play, 81 steal will also work. But I think the 60 steal is enough to go for some steals when they're, you know, right at me. Anything lower than this, you won't be able to play passing lanes at all. 60, you'll still be able to play passing lanes at a basic level. Block, obviously nothing. Offensive rebound, nothing. The 70 defensive rebound doesn't seem like much, but it's pretty common for playmakers in past games to have decent defensive rebound, and the 70 on the 6'4 player gets you the bronze rebound chaser at 60 only, but the 70 putting it up there will just make you that much better rebounder. You're only 6'4", but you do have a long wingspan. You'll grab a little bit more rebounds than you might think, I'm telling you. Speed obviously is elite on this player, 92 speed. The acceleration, again, I don't think it matters that much. There's been a big debate going around the community for a while. I have a player with high excel and a player with low excel, and I really don't notice a difference much. They said the dev said you only notice it on launches from a complete stop, and I just feel like that doesn't come up much in the kind of dribbling I do. So 77 excel is more than enough for me. Strength 50 is perfect. You get the silver clamps. Vertical 62 is the bare minimum that I have to get up to because of the speed. And then stamina 99, obviously, for the handle for days Hall of Fame, which is another crucial part of this player, just allowing you to cook people and go for clips. I'm pretty sure I actually made the next build you're going to see, and I love that build, but I am honestly even considering making this player as well, kind of just one taller ball handler. That's a little bit more competitive in the sense that it could play better defense and still be effective on offense. But I kind of want this player as well because the clips on this player would just be elite. The finishing is more than enough. The dribbling is insane. The shooting is just the same. I think the defense is pretty good too if you're just running basic park or theater pro-am. I think it can do. And the defense is good enough that I think if you're just running park or playing simple game modes like theater, this will do. I think 85 perimeter, 60 steal is more than enough. Now finally, after all of those players, which I think are all good and can all be made and can all work well, I think my favorite of all of them is this one I'm about to show you right now. And this might be the new pure playmaker build I play with or I make and play with as my primary build from here on out. This is again a 6'8". I'm the kind of guy who likes an all-around do everything playmaker. I also think this is the most competitive out of all the builds. I think you can use this player in pretty competitive situations. I think a good player behind the sticks of this build will do really well. I'm a decent player, and I plan to keep playing a lot this year, see how well I can do, but a good player on the sticks of this build I think will do better than any other player. Now this is very similar to the other builds I made, except the finishing is better than my original player I showed you, the one with the 96 pass accuracy. The finishing is better on this build. The defense is the same, but this build obviously has the rebounding, which is just insane. Speed acceleration is the same, but this one keeps the strength while also getting better finishing. So this build doesn't have the Giannis or Ben Simmons dunks, but like I said, they're not a necessity. Nice if you can get them, but if you can't, it's not the end of the world. 45 standing dunk is what you want to hit. 40 standing dunk gets you one standing dunk animation, 45 gets you a second. I'm not going to be doing standing dunks that much, but now I have the ability to if I need to. 45 standing dunk is perfect for this build. 75, more than enough driving dunk to finish at the rim. And I get that DeMar DeRozan dunk package. This build, unlike all the other ones, 81 driving layup, which you'll see, you're not gonna get any badges for that. 81's not gonna give you anything. You still have all the benefits of 80, like I explained before. Now this 81 gives you DeMar DeRozan layup, which isn't necessarily the best layup in the game. I think Jimmy Butler is gonna be the best for scoops, floats, etc. But if I play with this build a little more and I see that the finishing is better than I thought, or I want to try some stuff out, the DeMar DeRozan layup package has one of the best Euro steps in the game. You're able to trigger dunks off the Euro step really frequently, and that's why I think that 81 is just nice to get that last little stat. There's not much else I could put it on anyways. You'll see this build's got the post control still for the gold unpluckable. The shooting is the same as the rest of the builds, and trust me, 76th three-pointer mid-range will work perfectly, especially if you're someone that's played on pure playmakers for years. This is the shooting we always have, that mid to high 70s three-point rating. Like, that's what we always have to shoot with. So if you're someone who plays on a pure playmaker, it won't be any different this year. Shooting in this game is hard, but it's not. It's a pure green window, which means you can green shots with a low three-pointer at a high success rate if you know how to play and you know how to shoot. 76 three ball will work. This build gets an 85 free throw because why? I don't have to sacrifice anything. I have all the stats I want and I have nothing else to put it on. So 85 free throw is going to work wonders for me because I love playing rec with randoms and pro-am sometimes. 85 ball handle, like I said, more than enough to get all the drill moves I want. And 85 ball handle is enough to get most of the good meta drill moves in this game. 75 speed with ball, like I said, get the dribble styles you need, you get the badges you need, it's perfect. 85 perimeter, 85 steal, 83 rebound, I've explained that. You get all those silver badges. Silver badges are such good value in this game, and almost all my defensive badges are silver, which makes me a well-rounded defender. Speed, acceleration exactly the same. Strength, 82, I explained it. We get the immovable, the box out beast. The physical handles too, I didn't mention that one, but the physical handles is a nice luxury to have as well. It'll help you not get stonewalled as easily and almost acts as clamp breaker did in the other games, if I'm not mistaken. Not as effective, I don't think, but trust me, it's just a nice luxury to have if it's there. Vertical 72, so we get that aerial wizard. I want to be going for tons of putbacks on this build. It's gonna be fun. Stamina 99. This is my favorite build out of all the ones I showed you. It's the one I recommend you make if you want a pure playmaker in this game, because it's going to be not just the pure playmaker build, feel like the pure playmaker, but it's going to be the best pure playmaker I think you're going to get, especially if you want a tall player. I wasn't happy with the small playmakers in this game. The animation caps make me not really want to go lower than 6'8", unless I'm going below 6'5" to like a 6'4" player. But then the 6'4" players are too one-dimensional for me. So I don't really want to play with them. I think the silver speed booster and hyperdrive on the tall player is more than enough, especially with the way I dribble. I don't really unlock any extra animations for going to 6'6" or 6'7", so I'm not going to do that. I think 6'5" is the perfect threshold. This build checks all my boxes. I think I'm going to make this player. One quick thing before I go. I noticed the smallest, I've pretty much memorized the stats exactly because I've been playing with this builder for so long. I noticed my close shot was up to a 64 and I know I could get it down to a 62 because that's all I need for the post control. So I went over, took that out quickly, looked around to see what I could add it on. Now I put it on this perimeter defense right here just for that workhorse. If you didn't know, workhorse is going to help you get loose balls, which also helps with those weird steal animations where you kind of poke the ball, but you need to go pick it up. And if you have higher workhorse than the other player, you're gonna win that ball. So I think I'm gonna go with the 86 perimeter defense for myself. But if you like, you go take this off, put it on free throw. You could even drop your free throw down to a 71. Maybe use this to get 2 perimeter defense. But I have to warn you, if you go up to an 87 perimeter, you're gonna get a two-way floor general or two-way playmaker, as opposed to what we had now, which is floor general. So that's a possibility. There's no point in putting on steal because you can't get higher than 86, and the next threshold is 89, then 91, so it's not worth it. So like I said, I would go with that higher free throw once again. And toss it on that perimeter defense. Get the workhorse on gold. It's going to help you with those weird pluck animations. And this now is the perfect build, I believe. And I think this is the build I'm going to make. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you sticking around. I know it was a long one, but I hope you found the Playmaker build that you want. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate if you left a like and even subscribed if you want to see more from me. I have a lot planned for this channel. Uh, Planning on uploading exclusively 2K for the next little while. See how that goes, and I got a lot of ideas, so I think it's worth your while. If you're looking for something to watch in the meantime, you can check out one of my old COD videos, but expect an upload in the next 2-3 days and pretty consistent uploads going on after that. Leave a comment if you end up making any of these players, and have fun playing around with your new Playmaker in the park. See you next video.